Hey Dan, welcome to the Community Living Golf Tournament. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play through, put you back in your address position, and we'll take a look at a few things for you. Okay, so while we got you back here in your address position, let's first of all just take a look at your setup. So your lower spine's straight and on a tilt. You get a little rounded up in the upper back, but a lot of people do. That's just how we're built. But the lower spine's on a pretty decent angle, and that's the most important part. Legs are in somewhat of an unlocked position. Your arms do hang down sort of in towards you a little tight, and then your forearms work out, and then the club works out to the ball. So, I mean, I would refine your posture here a little if I was going to work on your golf game. I'd just work on getting your tail out and up, get your sternum out, up, and forward. Ultimately, what that's going to do, it's just going to straighten your spine as straight as you can get it. It'll also put it on a little bit more of an angle. From there, we can keep the legs unlocked as they are. Now the arms can hang down naturally in front of us without sort of hugging our rib cage, and then the club can work out to the ball. I'd also like to change your weight distribution. Right now it's a little bit sort of sitting back on your heels, which you can see. I like to get you sort of rocking forward, a little bit more athletic ready on the balls of the feet, and that might also position you a little further away from the ball. Next thing we can observe is that your feet are in a closed stance. We carry that out to the fairway. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera have an appearance of converging, and even with that conversion we can see we're set up over towards the right rough. A little sort of static compensation you make is that you're sort of leaning to the target, so your upper body understands that it wants to try and hit the golf ball over back in this direction, the center of the fairway. So we're a little disconnected upper lower halves, so we need to refine that posture. We need to refine your alignment and just tweak up some of those fundamentals. At this point in time, we can go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Brandt Snedeker. Basically, we can see here, before we go ahead and take a look at the golf swing, what I was talking about. Spine's a little straighter, definitely a little bit more athletic, ready on the balls of his feet. He's not sitting on his heels. So just refining that up a little bit would be ideal. Now, as we take a look at the golf swing, we're simply just trying to bring the golf club back by creating shoulder rotation, which will bring the arms and hands back as well as the club. And we see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. At this point in time, we're going to start to incorporate some good wrist hinge into play, which is going to transition the club head from being below to above the hands. And then we're working the club from red up to yellow. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we have full shoulder rotation. Left arm and club are on the yellow line. And we do this about a very stable right leg, keeping the weight on the inside part of our right foot. As we watch you initiate your takeaway here, so that's coming back a little quick there. Let's just slow that down. So your hands come back real nice. Club's coming back on a pretty decent plane there. You are rotating your shoulders somewhat. We got to get some wrist hinge into play. The club head does stay a little out in front of your hands, but it might drop back here. Yeah, it does. So it recovers pretty decent, so it's still pretty good. As we continue to go back here, at this point in time, you sort of start to pick your hands and arms up instead of continuing to swing around with your shoulder rotation. Also looks like your right arm, your right elbow starts to sort of stay close to your body, folds and stays underneath the left arm too much. And actually another thing that I see is sort of that you sort of sink in with your lower body here. So you're sort of moving towards the, let me clear that off, you're sort of moving towards the golf ball with your lower body. So it's almost like you're bringing it back and then you're sort of sinking towards the ball. See that right there? See? So you should be sort of staying on that line. So as you sink, what happens is your spine has a tendency of now coming up and pulling away from the golf ball, get you in a little bit of a distorted position. And then we can see at the top of the backswing here for sure that your arms are definitely too steep. Your left arm's covering too much of your face. Your right arm's too low, and the club's just too laid off. So we're in a little bit of a stuck position that's not really going to allow us to come into the ball from an on-plane position. So we can see with Brandt Snedeker, simply what we're going to try and do here is move the weight from right foot to left, fire the knees and the hips, unwind the core and fire the hands. And in doing so, we're going to bring the hands and the club from yellow back down onto red, which is where the club originated from. So we can see the club returning back to plane. The other thing we want to point out at this stage is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. We refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands. Therefore, he's retaining angle and he's going to create a lot of power in his golf swing, let alone being able to hit the ball straight due to the fact that the club has returned back to plane. So taking a look at your transition back in the ball, it's going to be very difficult for you to do this. You can see you make an over-the-top move from your steep position. Your hands travel out in front, and you're basically just throwing the club head away. So if we continue to track that club head coming into the ball, we can just see that you're throwing that club head further and further out in front of you, okay? And this, unfortunately, is the most important aspect of the golf swing. It's the downswing plane because it influences the path. So at this point in time, we can go ahead and take a look at the path of the club. Actually, let me put those lines back up. Just want to track Snedeker's club coming into the ball so you can actually see this. So we can see here Snedeker's club just coming into the ball directly from an on-plane position, from this red line. So at this point in time, I can go back to taking a look at how the downswing plane influences the path, and we can very clearly see his club is inside the ball, expanding out to make contact, and then moves through on a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is stuck outside the ball, dropping down and across to make contact, and then keeps moving across. So very simply put, this is your compensation. You're swinging the golf club from outside to the ball to the inside, and if you happen to square that club face up to that path, you'll be able to pull the ball in this direction. And very clearly put, that is your compensation. So you're basically trying to pull that ball back to the center of the fairway due to the fact that your alignment is out to the right. Okay, so again, we're set up to hit blue. We bring the golf club back, we get a little steep. We bring the club from over the top, we swing the club from out to in along the yellow path, and we try to pull the ball to yellow. The unfortunate things that occur here are if we happen to square the club face or release it too much, then the ball starts to create a bit of a pull draw or pull hook. If the club face remains open, then the ball starts to create a bit of a pull slice, and if we time it properly, then the ball still sort of has an opportunity, hopefully, of just having a subtle pull fade and staying on line. Unfortunately, this does require a lot of timing on your part. Again, when we're swinging that club from out to in, we're really trying to manipulate that club face. Now as we swing through, let's just pay attention to Snedeker's right heel. It's off the ground. Watch the continued activity of that right heel up off the ground, up on the toe of the right foot, allowing us to count all the spikes in the shoe. This allows us to get our weight to our left side, square our hips and shoulders up, and right now we can see through impact your right foot is flat on the ground. And then you actually start to bring it off the ground a little, and you actually carry yourself through to a good finish. So that looks really, really good. It's a little late, but nonetheless, you are creating that footwork. It is allowing you to get through to a finish. Okay? Overall, actually, I'm just going to have this move in slow motion because golf swing is just moving a little fast. So a little refinement in your posture. Definitely need to improve the alignment because the alignment is causing you to create this over-the-top move where we're trying to pull the ball back to the left. If we aim properly, there would be no reason to come over the top. At that point in time, we do need to learn how to create a better backswing where we're swinging things back into a shallower position. That'll already immediately create a domino effect when you come down, so you don't come so far over the top. Now, it might not prove 100%, but at that point in time, you can go ahead and fix whatever is left that hasn't improved by improving your backswing. So shallower set position here, you'd come into the ball from a better plane, absolutely critical so that we're not attacking the ball from out to in, and at that point in time, as long as the grip is good, then we'd be a lot more consistent in our ball striking. So three most important things we need: we have to aim well, we got to bring the club down on plane in order to hit the ball based on where we're aimed, and then the club face has to square up via having a good grip. Okay? Anyways, hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. If at any point in time you want to work on any of these aspects, certainly feel free to contact me. I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. All my contact information is after the swing analysis. And also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, certainly feel free to touch base. Anyways, again, hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing, and hope you have a great summer.